And happy Thursday, July 20th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I'm your host, the vegan you believe in, aka the heartbeat of America, Kurt Cadet, and this man needs no introduction, but he's going to give you one anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, none other than the adventurer himself, Jonathan Randall. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our brand new episode of the Clash of Champions. Follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram at champs.clash and Twitter, the Champs Clash. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the road to SummerSlam, on to the Motor City, and it's warming up. I'm excited for it. Kurt?
SummerSlam is heating up. Although there's only 2 matches officially set as of now, we can pretty much get an idea of what we're going to get. But we'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, bro, I like that name, The Adventure, that you're calling yourself. I think you should probably brand that shit.
Of course. It's
Get a T-shirt.
it's not just
Get T-shirts made.
hell yeah. It's not a marketing thing, man. I live my life as an adventure no matter what you do. As far as as long as you're having fun in your life and being active, just doing stuff. That's what it's all about.
I like the sound of that shit, bro, and I want to start doing more of that because I did a lot of that last week when I was in New York. And yeah, I had a
Yeah,
good
I was just about
time.
to ask you about that. How was New York? How was it?
New York was dope, bro. It was the first time I was there in 4 years. I got to hang out with my best friend. Like we went to a bunch of bars, ate a bunch of good vegan food. Like we went to Central Park. It's crazy. This dude has 2 apartments. He has one like in the Lower East Side and Chinatown area, and then he has another apartment like on 55th Street and 8th Avenue, like 10 blocks away from Times Square, and literally like 5 blocks away from Central Park.
What does he do? How is he able to afford 2 apartments in New York City?
Well,
I
he's
know it's
only
expensive to live out there.
Well, he's only keeping them both temporarily, like, but he's letting his other friend stay at the other one who's coming to visit him. But yeah, it's crazy, and he has a really good job though. Like he makes good money, so he can afford it. It's all good. But yeah, he definitely turned around a lot with his lifestyle compared to when we lived in New York together back in 2008. Because yeah, it was a whole different vibe back then.
Interesting. Hmm.
When we lived in New York together, like at the end of '07, like most of '08, we lived like in this like 1.5 bedroom apartment that was not the greatest. The floor was crooked. We had a bunch of unwanted guests, if you know what I'm saying. The thing was, even though it was a piece of shit apartment, it was our piece of shit apartment.
I feel you. It's funny that I think during the week that you were there, my hockey teammate that I play with, he was actually out there with his wife during the same time. He took a subway. He showed videos of walking through everywhere in New York, and he was even in the subway, and he even walked past the Garden, Madison Square Garden. I don't. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to confuse everybody. I don't want to just say the Garden. I want to say Madison Square Garden because I don't want everybody to think, oh, he walked past the Garden. No, I'm talking about Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. So
Not TD Garden in Boston.
no.
But yeah, and speaking of the garden, I actually bought some goodies from the dispensary right across the street from Madison Square Garden. That's why I took that picture of it because I was literally right there.
Oh, nice, nice. I wonder how much. I wonder how much it is to take a subway ride.
Well, I bought the weekly pass, so that was like $30 that you can ride it unlimited for the whole week. So I just bought that because I figured I was going to be using it a lot.
That's not bad.
It used to be cheaper though. It used to be cheaper because I remember like when I lived there, I would buy the monthly pass and it would be like $77 or $81, and now it's like 130 for the monthly pass.
Are you serious?
Dead ass, bro.
Damn, 130 for a month, man.
Yep.
Man, I wow. I see. Like that's the things that worries me about that, man. Like if I had to live out there, traffic, just the overcrowd of people. I mean, New York City is a big place, but man, just prices and everything, rent, man, that's crazy, dude.
Look, it's definitely a wild place. It's definitely not for everybody, and it definitely has. I'm sorry, definitely has its shit about it that can turn you off, but there's just something about the energy and the vibe there and everything and just the whole city in
I
general, like
feel you.
everything you see, like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
neighborhoods, the culture. It's just
Yeah,
nothing
I
like
feel you.
it.
That's how I feel when I go to LA.
It
I
just gives
feel
you a
it.
different feeling. It gives you a different energy, and you just can't help but love that shit. That's the thing about New York. Despite its flaws, despite all the shit that's wrong with it, you still can't help but love it. Whether it's the city itself, whether it's the sports teams, the people, whatever have you, there's just nothing like New NYC. Nothing like it on earth, bro. Nothing.
I feel you. I get that vibe. I get that vibe from LA. LA is a big place. Crowded place, just like New York. But the culture and the vibe, just and the stuff that they have available in that city, just makes it great. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I walked through Times Square. Freaking the promotion for that Barbie movie's crazy out there. Holy shit.
It's everywhere, man. Especially here. The Circa Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much they colored it like pink.
But with all the pink and shit, they slipped up by not like having Bret Hart do a cameo in it.
Oh my god.
But actually, I heard John Cena's in it. I heard John Cena actually is in it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, John Cena's in it. Issa Rae's in it. Will Ferrell's in it. Yeah, the girl who played Harley Quinn and also from Wolf of Wall Street. Her name always slips my mind, but she's plays Barbie, and then Ryan Gosling plays that Ken dude. I actually saw the preview for it, and I'm not gonna lie, the preview doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it when I went to see Indiana Jones about a couple weeks ago. So I mean, it looks okay, but I think honestly, I want to watch that the Oppenheimer movie, the movie about the atomic bomb.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing about that.
Right, I've been hearing a lot of good things about that movie. So I honestly want to watch that first. I wouldn't mind watching Barbie though, but if I had to choose, I would because I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan of his. I'm a big fan of his
Oh
movies.
yeah, Inception, y'all, The Dark Knights. Yeah, Chris Nolan is that ish.
Yes.
But you could always see both. Yeah, you could always see both.
Yeah. True. True.
I'm sorry, and also that Ninja Turtles movie looks dope too. That it's kind of gonna be like kind of the
Yeah.
Spider Verse movies. It's gonna be like more of that style,
Mm,
and like Seth Rogen's behind it.
yeah. Yeah. I heard about that too. Yeah.
I'll definitely be watching that shit, and I just keep my fingers crossed that it's the best one since the original one from 1990.
Let's hope.
Yeah, because even that Secret of the Ooze shit, as much as I loved it when I was a kid, the most recent time I watched it, it just was not the same. It was so bad that I had to turn it off halfway through.
Wow.
Yeah, and it hurt me too because I used to love that movie like and adore it when I was a kid, and like when I watched it as an adult and I like saw that like it's just horrible, I'm like, fuck, this is like fucking with my feelings, man.
Dang. All
I
bad.
did like Kevin Nash's cameo though in Super Shredder.
That's funny. We tend to forget about that sometimes.
But New York was dope. I actually passed by the USB arena where the Islanders play their new arena.
Oh, is that in what part of that's wait, Long Island, correct?
Yeah, Long Islanders because my dad lives in Long Island. I stayed with my dad for like half of the trip, and I passed by it multiple times.
Okay, dope. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, the first half of the trip I stayed in the city with my best friend, which was great, and then I stayed in Long Island with my dad and the rest of my family that came in for the second half. That was still nice too, but the difference was that when I was in the city with my best friend, I was more on my own time, and then when I was with my family, it was more like I was on my family's time.
I feel you. And were you guys at like a family? You're at a family reunion,
Yes,
correct?
that was Saturday. The family reunion was fun. It was a good time. I mainly spent most of it outside hanging out with people, but it was still fun for the time I was inside of it. Got to catch up
Gotcha.
with some people I hadn't seen in a while. It was pretty cool. And on Friday, we actually drove to Connecticut, and on the way to Connecticut, I actually passed by the WWE headquarters.
Yes, I saw pictures of that, and I told you should protest. Start a protest. Start something.
Yeah, I passed by the old one also. Yeah, it was just it was weird. I didn't see that coming. I wasn't expecting to pass by it, but I'm like, holy shit, it's the WWE headquarters.
Oh
I'll be
wow.
honest, like our trip to Connecticut didn't really go the way we hoped it would for various reasons, but it was cool to see that.
Hmm.
And to hang out with some family too, because we did that
Interesting.
also.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
never went axe throwing before either. That was fun to do for the first time. And I made a bullseye on my first try.
Well, damn it, I'm jealous right now because me and my girlfriend Samantha were talking about doing it. We got all the time in the world though, but that's kind of like on our hit list right now. We haven't done it yet.
Here comes the axe, and here comes the smasher. Yeah, we did that shit. It was pretty fun. But yeah, overall I had a good time in New York this weekend, and the last night we went out with a bang. I met up with my friend in the city, so I met up with him. We went to a restaurant. We went to like this rooftop bar. Then we walked the Manhattan Bridge like at 12 o'clock at night, which was definitely some different shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I took like a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge. It was like almost pitch black at night. Yeah, that shit was crazy. I hadn't walked that bridge in over 15 years.
Damn.
And let me tell you, that bridge is a long way down. A long way down.
You know what? You're making me think about New Jack City right now.
Yeah, that shit. Yep, that's exactly how far down it is.
Yeah, the opening scene and where Wesley Snipes dropped the one guy off from the bridge. So they I think Hollywood didn't do enough credit on how high that bridge is.
They did. They did, but yeah, and
Kind of.
technically it was the other man who dropped him, not Wesley Snipes.
Right. Oh yeah. My bad. You know what I'm about to say. Yeah. But
It's all good. He has that classic line, "See ya, wouldn't want to be ya." But yeah, that was a hell of a way to open that movie, bro.
right.
We walked up the Manhattan Bridge. We went to like another bar. We like just hung out all night, and then I just went straight from his crib to the airport, and that was that. Yeah, I didn't even sleep.
Oh wow.
Need more nights like that.
Yeah. So I need another vacation, man. I haven't been out of town since April. I was supposed to go out of town. Was it last week? I was supposed to go out of town. I was supposed to go with my girlfriend for her grandfather's birthday, but they weren't feeling good, so we weren't able to go. But hopefully we'll go. But I need another out of town vacation.
Yeah, it's always good for the soul, but what's also good for the soul is the Bloodline and Roman Reigns storyline, which further escalated since the last time we spoke to you guys.
Indeed.
2 Fridays ago, we had SmackDown from Madison Square Garden, and Roman made his entrance. And then, as he was about to spit his little line, the Usos came and interrupted. And Roman was acting like he was like gonna surrender the Tribal Chief title to Jey Uso, to the point where like he put the lay over him, and then he like got down on his knees and he was literally crying. And it seemed like he was gonna acknowledge Jey Uso as the Tribal Chief, but as Jey Uso was like putting his hand on Roman, Roman hit him with a low blow.
Oof. I mean, I'm not surprised. Am I? I mean, should we really be surprised to not see that coming, Kurt? I mean, you really expect Roman Reigns to give up that power, that lay to Jey Uso, the same lay that was bestowed upon him from the Wild Samoans about almost 3 years ago, if you remember that.
Yeah, but he sold this shit pretty well. Like deep down, I knew
He
something
did.
was up. I'm like,
He
there's no.
did.
I
Oh,
was
oh,
like deep down, I knew that like there's no way he's doing this shit. There has to be something
oh.
that's gonna happen afterwards. There's no way he's surrendering this shit. I would compare this to the Mark Henry fake retirement from 10 years ago.
Oh, when he announced his
Almost,
retirement,
almost.
almost. Yeah, I remember that segment. He really caught us all off guard that night. He was supposed to. He was going to announce his retirement. John Cena comes in to, be there for him, congratulate him, and it turned out it was all a lie. I get that.
Yeah, so Roman hits him with the low blow. It was funny that Jimmy stood there for like almost a full minute before he did something.
That's what I'm saying. That was a bit weird. He kind of just stood there and just looked. And anybody else in that situation would have immediately would have did something.
I don't know, maybe he was shocked, but whatever it was, yeah, that happened. And then Jimmy eventually does attack Roman, then it turns into a whole brawl. And then Roman and Solo tie up Jey Uso into the ropes, and then Solo splashes Jimmy Uso through the announce table, which is such a horrific attack that Jimmy Uso had to be carried out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jimmy Uso's taken out on a stretcher, taken out in an ambulance, and all of this happened within the first 35 minutes of the show.
Yeah. I mean, that's the perfect way to start off your show. I mean, you're in the garden. You got to start off perfect like that, man. Perfect.
It started the show off strong. It was great, but the only thing was it kind of took away from the other parts of the show. Don't know if you noticed, but like a lot of parts of the show kind of got cut short, and like it kind of felt like they were rushed a little bit.
Hey, you know what? This is what happens when you have a lot of it's always the good segments, Kurt. It's always the good segments that are overtimed, overrun, that are, they pretty much take up a lot of the other time that other superstars need, that night, whether if it's like a segment or a match, it always happens. So this is not really a surprise to me. It's a shame, but it happens.
Yeah, but also to end the night, Roman came out again with Solo to do his old acknowledge me shtick. But then as he was doing this, Jey Uso came back from taking his brother to the hospital, attacked Roman and Solo, but then as Jey was getting the better of Roman, Solo interrupted, but then Jey ended up countering the attack and attacking Solo with the chair as Roman ran away and left Solo to be laid out by Jey Uso to end the show.
Bro, that promo by Jey, fire. You just feel the raw energy, that anger from Jey, just challenging. And not only that, Kurt, he challenged him one-on-one. So you knew that it was going to be Jey versus Roman at SummerSlam. So that segment alone that Jey said in the ring was just, man, it got me fired up hearing it. Loved it.
Yeah, it was a great way for the show to go off the air. I mean, the match isn't official yet. It hasn't been announced, but it definitely is going to happen. It's inevitable. And then the storyline further escalated the following week on SmackDown as Jey Uso came out, cut a promo basically talking about how he respects everybody in the family, but when it comes to Roman, he's disrespecting all of him.
Wow.
And basically also talking about how him and his brother were always attached to the hip from the time they were babies and how the bond twins have is different from any other. And now, like, it's payback time. It's fucking going to get real.
Deep, 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 deep.
And then Heyman and Solo come out to confront Jey Uso. And then Heyman talks about how it's all Jey's fault about what happened to Jimmy and that he has no one to blame but himself. And even Solo grabbed the mic and said, "I blame you too."
Oh, wow.
And then this leads to a brawl between Jey and Solo basically gets knocked out of the ring by Jey. And then as this is going on inside the ring, Jey ends up super kicking Paul Heyman. Crazy ass shit. He super kicked Paul Heyman. He laid his ass out.
Holy crap, man. And Paul Heyman usually doesn't take, the cheap shots and the bumps, man. But I applaud him for it, though.
Yeah, like he's done a few, like the most notable one being the F5 at SummerSlam last year. But yeah, I didn't see this coming. It was nice to spice things up this way. And then he stood dominant once again. And main event, Jey Uso is earning that title big time right now.
He is. I want to ask you, do you think he really deserved this moment? Do you think that, because, mine is a storyline, but do you see Jey as a moving forward that, okay, there's a lot of trust and confidence in this guy to be a main eventer?
It's possible. I mean, I think most of us know what the outcome of this match is going to be.
I know.
He's held the interest of us enough and held his own in this storyline enough where he's definitely earned it. And I don't know what's going to happen afterwards, but just for this specific match, this show, he's earned it. I have no complaints.
You know what? I think personally, it really depends on how the match goes. That's how I feel. It depends on how the match goes. If the match goes very well, I strongly believe that Jey could be seen as a future potential main eventer, depending on how the match goes.
Regardless, it will definitely be 10 times better than what the main event was at SummerSlam the last time it was in Detroit. No doubt about it.
I know. No, crazy. That was, 30 years ago?
30 years ago. Man. Tomorrow night on SmackDown, Roman will be back. And I believe he will be there to officially accept Jey Uso's challenge for SummerSlam. And it will be in Orlando, Florida, which is already sold out.
Did you go to Raw this past Monday in Atlanta?
No, I didn't go. I could have gone. I got back into town early enough. I was back in town by 10 in the morning. But our money was a little tight because of the trip and everything. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I just ended up not buying a ticket. But I heard it was already sold out anyway. I heard Raw was also sold out Monday in Atlanta. And the crowd was pretty hot, actually. From watching the show, the crowd was pretty hot.
It was, I heard.
And the show was solid, too. The show actually had some good shit.
It did.
Brock came out and attacked Cody. and officially accepted his challenge for SummerSlam. He even beat up Cody in front of his own family, in front of his mom, in front of like his
Right.
friends, all that shit. Yeah, beat him up right in front of all of them.
But as I said on Twitter, right, there needs to be a special stipulation for this match. I don't want to see a regular one-on-one match.
We'll see what's up. Maybe they'll have a Bumpkin Day Hoedown challenge. Maybe they'll do that shit.
We'll see what happens. I hope there is though, but this is what the third time.
Brock's gonna bust out those moves he used to do at the country bars with Charlie Haas back in the day.
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and also Ronda officially challenged Shayna Baszler to SummerSlam, where she was showed up like through the crowd and like talking about how she like basically baiting Shayna, like acting as if she was gonna fight her right then and there, but it was all a ruse, saying I'll see you at SummerSlam, like a place where it's actually worth us fighting, unlike this town.
Right. Do you like it?
I like the feud so far, but it's obvious from everybody's perspective so far, mine included, that Shayna Baszler is the real hero in this storyline, and Ronda's the villain.
Oh, of course. I mean, we've seen this before with Randy Savage and Hogan, and in our last episode we have mentioned about that, how because Shayna Baszler was stating some cold hard facts that is true. It's always like when you watch a movie and you see the villain, like we don't like the villain, but when the villain is stating a lot of these good facts, you're kind of like, oh, you know what? I don't like you, but you got a point. You know what I mean?
Nah, but this is different. This is where Shayna's like legit the hero. Like Shayna Baszler like legit always wanted to be a wrestler, trained for it for years, and then Ronda mainly got in because of her name and what she accomplished even outside of wrestling.
True.
And obviously people haven't been crazy about Ronda's run ever since she came back last year. Even in UFC, I heard that people had issues with her, I guess, with certain scenarios where she wouldn't shake an opponent's hand or things along those lines.
Mm.
And I guess maybe the way she would act when she would lose, I would hear people complain about that too.
Wow.
So there's a real I guess unlikableness people have for Ronda. So it's not a bad idea to play off of that.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I did like her cameo in the Entourage movie.
You know what? I only saw bits and pieces of it. It was okay. I honestly prefer the TV show way better than the movie.
Yeah,
but it's a different story. What did you thought about the segment between Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair? Because that's something we forgot to talk about that happened on SmackDown recently. Things are kind of a little bit heating up right now because Charlotte wants to challenge Asuka for the title. So does Bianca. Bianca's been stating her case for weeks how she wants a rematch, and now Charlotte's in the way. So both of them recently had a segment with each other. What do you thought about it?
I didn't really see the talking segment they had on SmackDown last Friday. I did watch the match between Asuka and Bianca, where Charlotte was sitting at the front row, and then Io Sky and Bayley were at ringside, and Io Sky was acting like she was going to cash in, and then Charlotte tried to spear Io Sky and stop her from cashing in, and then she missed and ended up spearing Bianca, and that caused a disqualification, and she cost Bianca the title, which I saw coming. I knew for a fact Charlotte was probably going to cost her the match. I knew it was going to play out that way, which is fine. I don't mind it. And then Io Sky was acting like she was going to cash in on Asuka because Asuka was laid out. But then as she was about to do the moonsault, Asuka got up and sprayed the mist into Bayley's face, who was standing on the apron, and then she escaped and ran away with the belt.
Wow. You know what I
She was nuts.
In the upcoming future, predicting a triple threat match. Asuka versus Charlotte versus Bianca for the women's title.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to happen that way. I kind of had a feeling it was going to, but with how everything's played out the last few weeks, it's a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only perfect way to do it, and I love it, honestly.
I just wonder if Bianca's going to maybe turn officially at SummerSlam. I'm wondering if it's going to happen.
You know what? I still believe she'll turn heel, but when, I don't know. I don't think Bianca will win at SummerSlam. I think maybe after. Maybe the week after, but look, I'm still strong about her turning heel.
She doesn't necessarily need to per se, but I think it would be good for her character and it would be a nice switch up.
The company's a little bit hesitant to do that because with everything, the charitable things that Bianca does, make a wish and everything, and the connection with the fans. I think that's why the company is a little bit hesitant. I may be wrong. Like I said, I don't know what they're going to do, but you're right. I strongly believe that Bianca needs to turn heel, give her an edge to her character.
We'll see what happens, but I have like this exchange between her and Charlotte in recent weeks. It's been a nice switch up because I was saying that like Bianca needed new opponents and like a new feud, and this whole Charlotte thing has been like a answer to that so far.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's more than likely happening, and then Io Sky and Bailey will probably maybe play a factor into that. Also, we'll see how that goes. And there was a scare actually this past Sunday at a house show as Bailey was injured during a match, and it was bad to the point where they had to put up the X sign and help her out. It was looking really bad for a minute, but then she put out a picture a little while later saying that she was okay and telling everybody to relax.
Oh, damn, I'm glad she's okay. Wow.
There's been no real further update ever since, but from what it's looking like so far, it doesn't look like it's that big of a deal where she's going to be like out for a long time or anything like that.
Right.
I was a little scared for a second because I remember she had the injury 2 years ago that kept her out for a year. So, yeah, for a split second, I was like, fuck, not again.
Damn, man.
And also at SummerSlam, we are going to be getting Seth Rollins and Finn Balor in a rematch for the World Heavyweight title.
From 2016.
Yes, as Seth Rollins was doing a sit-down interview on Raw Monday, Finn Balor actually came and interrupted it. And then Rollins basically said, either you're going to take me on right here, right now, or you can get out of my face. And then Balor acts like he's going to walk away, and as Rollins is distracted, he attacks Rollins and then lays him out. And then later in the show, as Balor's out for the Judgment Day match, Seth Rollins sneaks in through the crowd and does a dive through the second rope onto Finn Balor and beats him down, and that basically set up the match for SummerSlam, and it was made official afterwards, so we are getting it. It's going to go down.
Oh, boy. 7 years. Well, I mean, was it 7 years in the making again?
But this time it's actually at SummerSlam, so it's a different vibe.
This is really good. So I'm excited for it. I'm just curious what's going to happen this time. So, man, I don't know if Finn is really going to win it this time.
No, he's not. Stop it. No, he's not.
I mean, come on. I mean, Money in the Bank. I mean, you had a point, but I mean,
Damn right I have a point.
hey, there were some predictions where you're wrong now. So
I know I'm talking shit, but with the whole Judgment Day thing, like the teasing of the split they've been doing in recent weeks, I don't really see it happening.
true, and you know what? Because something happened surprisingly that proved that the group is intact, and I was on NXT because Dominic Mysterio, boy, he's literally turning heads right now and pissing the crowd off because Dominic Mysterio is the new NXT North American champion.
I like the move, though. I like it. His first singles title.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, for that title, yeah. Boy, I was shocked. I was like, what the? Wow.
Hey, we'll see where it goes, but the Judgment Day thing is kind of like their Raw version of the Bloodline stuff, and it kind of seems like they want to stretch it out a little longer.
I mean, this is good for the group. I thought the group was going to disband, but you can't do it now. Damian Priest is the Money in the Bank holder. You got Finn Balor, still gunning for the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Rhea Ripley is the World Women's Champion, and now Dominic Mysterio is the North American Champion.
Yeah, I have to say, looking back at it a year later, Edge leaving Judgment Day and the way it turned out now, it all worked out. I think it all worked out.
Yeah, it did.
Everybody benefited from it. I compare this to when Shawn left DX and then he was replaced by the Outlaws and X-Pac.
Oh, so because you kind of thought that because Shawn was gone, you thought DX wasn't going to be the same anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe for a little while, but then overall it turned out to be as good, if not better, than the original.
True.
And I guess with like in Edge's case, Finn Balor and Dominic also filled that void.
They really did, especially with Dominic now.
Yeah,
I think Dominic really helped.
Yeah, adding Dominic was a huge plus for that group. It definitely like put them over the top.
Yeah.
And also, Rhea Ripley cost Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan the women's tag team titles on Raw. And now the new champions are Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, both winning their first titles in WWE.
Yeah, man, I'm happy for them, man, because but it sucks. Raquel and Liv weren't. They just won the tag titles. What? Wait,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like it felt like it was shorter than that though, but yeah. But it is what it is though, because you know why? You know why? Because Raquel needs to go and move on to bigger and better things. She needs to have that match with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley needs that match. They both need each other, Kurt.
Yeah, and they're gonna more than likely have that match at SummerSlam because basically Rhea did attack Raquel backstage before the match, and I had them at a disadvantage, and they ended up losing in the end. And yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense because I figured with like Raquel challenging Rhea, she doesn't need the women's tag titles and whatnot, so it worked out the way it probably should have. But I don't know, maybe they could add Liv in there and make it another triple threat. We had two triple threat women's title matches.
Wait, between Rhea, Raquel, and who?
And Liv Morgan, because I remember
Who
Liv
else?
Morgan attacked Rhea at the end of Raw during the Judgment Day match. So who knows? Maybe they might throw her in there too.
I don't know. I think for that venue, for that match, like no offense to Liv Morgan, I love Liv Morgan, I really do, but I really think that they just need to make it one on one, and maybe have Liv Morgan interfere. That will cost Raquel the match. Then moving forward, you could do a triple threat. But I think for this, just do it one on one.
Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't have a problem with it either way. And also, it's looking like they're gonna do Logan Paul and Ricochet at SummerSlam. But from what I'm hearing, it's probably gonna open the show because Logan Paul needs to go to Dallas to like accompany his brother to the ring for his fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we'll see. That's not a bad opening match by any stretch. I'm not complaining.
No, it's not. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so SummerSlam is shaping up. We'll see what happens on SmackDown tomorrow when Roman returns. So I think tomorrow on SmackDown, Roman and Jey Uso is going to become official. The triple threat for the women's title is going to become official. And also tomorrow night we have a four-way to help decide one of the number one contenders for the U.S. title as it is going to be Cameron Grimes, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, and also LA Knight, who's getting some monster pops, bro. Even at Madison Square Garden on that show 2 weeks ago, his segment was like one of the dark segments, and it got one of the loudest pops of the night.
LA Knight's going to win that match. He needs it.
Yeah, and also Santos Escobar won another four-way the week before, so if LA Knight wins, he'll face Santos Escobar probably next week on SmackDown, and the winner of that will face Austin Theory for the U.S. title, possibly at SummerSlam.
LA Knight, and if LA Knight wins that match, I think you need to go ahead and put the belt on him. That would be perfect. Like I said earlier, this whole the Austin Theory thing is not working out well. LA Knight's on a hot run right now. This would be perfect to put the championship on him.
Yeah, it would be good for him. It would be a good look. He has a lot of momentum right now. I know Kevin Nash said some things about him a few weeks ago, saying how like he's like basically compared him to like The Rock and Austin, and how like he took a lot of his shtick from them, and he kind of went back on that and apologized afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, he went a little bit too far, man, because we're ignoring the fact that this guy is getting huge reactions from the crowd, man. It really doesn't matter what you're like, how you're doing it. Well, I mean, it does matter, but at the same time, what you're doing has an effect on the crowd, and the crowd is reacting to it greatly. I mean, it's good that he apologized though, but like, man, like prior to that, I mean, what he was saying was like, dude, like, come on, don't like, come on now. Like, how often do we see stuff like this? Not often. This is kind of like a once in a lifetime thing, and you need to run with it, dude. I love it.
Yeah, and if the people are into him and people are like reacting to him, then just let it be. Just let it be.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it, and I hope roll with it, run with it, do it right, put the belt on him. Because, like I said, this Austin Theory thing has not been working, man. I don't dislike Austin Theory. I like him, but it's not working out as I hoped it would.
Yeah, and also like back to the LA Knight thing, it's like everybody, like no matter how big of a star they are, everybody borrowed a little bit from somebody.
True. That
Nine
that
times out of 10 they have.
that is true. Some, yeah, it's a good point.
And current example for one, look at Solo Sikoa. Tell me like most of what Solo does doesn't remind you of Umaga.
Speaking of Umaga, his son had his first wrestling match a few days ago.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, like Hogan and Jesse Ventura got a lot of their style from Superstar Billy Graham, Ric Flair got a lot of his style from Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Everybody adapted a little bit from somebody.
You got to learn for the best. I mean, don't exactly copy them though, but like, incorporate their style. But, bro, it's just like in music, right?
Yeah, happens in music too.
Hell yeah! Come on, man.
Chris Brown always said he was heavily influenced by Michael Jackson, and granted, there were certain songs that, yeah, you kind of get Michael Jackson vibes. Hell, even from Weekend too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
good
beats like
point.
that. But yeah, just because they borrow a little something from the generation before them, that doesn't make what they're doing any less good.
As long as you're getting a reaction from the crowd, that what matters.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna get that match at SummerSlam because the SummerSlam card's already stacked to begin with. So if there's a match that gets cut, I think it might be that one.
Well, they only have 2 matches on announced so far.
Yeah, but all the other matches that they're more than likely gonna do, like the matches you can already tell it's going in that direction, it's probably gonna mean that one or two of them are gonna get cut.
I don't know. They need to put that match on the card. It's a stadium show.
I get it. No, I get it. But I'm saying the card might be so stacked that a match might have to get cut.
I mean, how many matches do you think they're gonna have? What? Not what? 9, 10, or
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, 9 or 10.
right?
Also on SmackDown last week, another thing that happened briefly, it was Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins met up with Bobby Lashley and got inside a limousine with them
Ooh,
to talk business.
do not screw this up, WWE. Do I sense a new version of the Hurt Business?
Possibly.
I like it. Don't screw this up, WWE. Do not screw this up. You won't be doing this for a reason if you didn't do it. I like it. And it was funny. It's funny, Kurt, because we were talking about how we were implementing on D'Angelo Hawkins and Montez Ford breaking up. We thought that was going to happen a long time ago, but after seeing this, don't do it. I like it. Please don't.
Yeah, maybe they don't have to break up. Maybe this will be like a nice little edge and rub thing that'll hook them up.
And this will be good. This will really be good for D'Angelo Hawkins. Like I mean, I already see so much potential in Montez Ford. Especially when I saw his performance at Elimination Chamber. But for D'Angelo Hawkins, I think this really would help and elevate him.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We gotta watch SmackDown tomorrow and find out. But also on SmackDown Friday after Bayley's match with Zelina Vega, vignette aired with Shotzi Blackheart on the screen, shaving off her hair.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, people were like making it like a big deal, saying how like it's WWE fucking with her character and all this jazz. But it turned out, and it was confirmed that she did that for solidarity for her sister who was dealing with cancer right now.
Oh man, my prayers.
Yeah, interesting way for her to do it, but yeah, definitely prayers to her sister. Hope eventually she gets better. And I feel bad for the girl, especially because she actually lost her father last year.
Damn.
Yeah, interesting way for her to do it, but we'll see what goes on with that. It looks like her feud with Bayley's probably going to continue from what we saw there.
Yeah.
And also, unfortunately, last Friday on SmackDown, we did have an injury as the Pretty Deadly member Elton Prince had a separated shoulder during the match with Sheamus and Rich Holland. I believe it was a spot when Rich Holland back body dropped him. I guess he landed awkwardly, and that caused the injury.
Yikes.
They still ended up winning the match. He even got the pin. Yeah, he still ended up winning the match for them.
That's crazy.
And people were giving Rich Holland a hard time because of it, because especially considering what happened with him and Big E last year. And it's like it was an accident, bro. You can't just fully blame him for it or like say that he's like unsafe or that he's.
It's not ballet, especially when you're taking a bump. So, what do you expect?
Yeah, people need to chill the fuck out. Yeah, acting like they know everything.
Right.
And also, speaking of Big E, he gave a most recent update on his condition, and this is what he had to say. I feel great. Unfortunately, I don't have a timetable. The great thing is I feel 100%. I don't even feel like someone who broke their neck. My mobility is incredible and great. My strength is great. I have no issues whatsoever. I wish I had some answers on returning to the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's like a positive sign that maybe it's one step closer to him coming back.
I mean, not just that, but also with Randy Orton too. So there's two hopeful possibilities that they could both come back. But we just gotta, hope for the best for Big E because it's man, how long has it been?
Been almost a year and a half. It happened like right before WrestleMania last year.
Wow, crazy, dude. I mean, we just gotta hope for the best. I mean, if he's feeling positive, that's good. That's the first. That's the first right step into the right direction.
Yeah, the fact that he has that, and like he said, he feels 100%, that's a victory in itself. Regardless of whenever he comes back to the ring, that in itself is a win.
Right.
Yeah, but positive news, and hopefully he's back sooner than later, definitely. And also,
Dude, same thing for Randy Orton.
yeah, Randy could come back at SummerSlam. It's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but WWE is like really hot now, especially with their live shows and live attendance. They're doing like sellouts consistently. Like I told you, Raw was sold out last Monday.
Well, merchandise sales as well.
Yeah, they're doing like record merchandise sales. Like the reports coming out is that they're doing better merchandise sales now than they were during the Attitude Era.
Yeah, that's crazy. I still need to get that book about wrestling merchandise sales from the '90s because Chris Jericho had a podcast about that, about the guy who wrote the book, and it was very interesting. It was pretty much he was just talking about merchandise and everything that they had that they sold during the '90s.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy that their merchandise is like doing so well now, like and like saying the best since the Attitude Era. That's fucking saying a lot. And also like the live
Oh,
attendance records they're doing. Yeah, Madison Square Garden SmackDown 2 weeks ago was the highest grossing show they've ever done at the Garden.
crazy! And here, and recently I've been, just going online and wondering, man, when is another event's going to come here to Vegas? I know they just had one in March for SmackDown, but I was wondering, when they're going to have Raw here or just another pay per view soon. But
I just missed my chance on Monday. I don't know when I'm going to another wrestling show.
it will come.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's crazy that they're doing this kind of business, and yeah, it's only looking up from here. But it's crazy. SummerSlam's gonna be their first like premium live event. I'll call it that for a second in the States since WrestleMania.
Yeah, man, that's crazy because Backlash was in Puerto Rico. You had Money in the Bank in London. Yeah, crazy. Moving forward, they'll be in the States for the rest of this year as far as their premium live events.
But it's been a hot year for them so far, especially for their pay-per-views. All their pay-per-views have delivered.
It has. From Royal Rumble on all the way up until now, they have. And so far, because we are halfway in a year, I want to point this out. So far, I think the best pay per view from this year so far, I still have to go with Elimination Chamber.
That's fair. It was a very good show. I can't disagree.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. This is like their best year for pay-per-views consistently since probably 2000.
Consecutively. Wow.
And the anniversary of one of those pay-per-views is actually this Sunday, fully loaded.
Wow. I mean, can you like think back to like a year more recent that okay, they had a good track record of pay-per-views?
In recent memory, last year they did pretty well. I think last year they did pretty well. More,
Last year
I
they did
would
pretty
say,
well.
I would say from WrestleMania on last year they were doing well, pay-per-view wise.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I remember Royal Rumble sucking, and then the Elimination Chamber show wasn't that great either. But then from WrestleMania on, their pay-per-views were a lot better.
If I had to think back to a year where the pay-per-views weren't so very good, I had to say 2017.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal's title reign, which I cannot believe you actually said should have gotten a second title reign.
Hey, listen, man, it was more than just that.
It
I,
sucked,
I just
bro.
felt
It
like
fucking sucked. It fucking sucked.
talking about more than that. There was just more that added fuel to the fire on why that pay per view year wasn't really that hot.
Like I watch those lists sometimes, like ranking like the 10 worst title reigns, like the 10 worst champions or whatever. And Jinder Mahal's usually is always at the top of the list.
I see.
Yeah, like it's nothing personal against the dude. Like the dude seems like a decent guy and a hard worker and all that jazz, but just the way they always position his character for all those years, for them just to randomly out of nowhere just make him the champion. Like, how could you not expect people to like turn away from that and not buy him in that role? What the fuck were they expecting? What did work out were the finals of the Owen Hart Cup tournament over the weekend on Saturday on Collision, as the winner for the women's was Willow Nightingale, who beat Ruby Soho. So now Ruby Soho is becoming the Buffalo Bills of this tournament because she lost the second straight year.
You said second straight.
Yeah, she lost in the finals last year too.
I mean, you could call them the Utah Jazz. I mean, I want to say Buffalo Bills. If she would have, if it was four straight, then yeah, it's only been two.
Unfortunately, yeah, she lost again nonetheless. But props to Willow Nightingale. I fucks with her. I actually like the energy she has, and she's damn good in the ring too. She is no joke.
Hmm, interesting.
And also on Collision, we had a nearly 1 hour, 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW tag titles, in which FDR defeated Juice Robinson and Jay White. And bro, this match was that ish. Was that ish?
Better was. Better was.
Yeah, FDR did retain, and they actually had that match the week before, and that match was also great. And it even was so good it outshined the Punk and Samoa Joe match.
It's all Chris Benoit's son was at the event.
Yeah, I saw him in the front row. Yeah, Punk like gave him a hug. I didn't get to see the show because I was at the family reunion, but I did see pictures and some highlights of it. And yeah, Punk did wrestle Ricky Starks in the finals, and surprisingly, Ricky Starks did beat Punk by rolling him up and holding on to the ropes. And Ricky Starks is the winner for the men for the Owen Hart tournament.
I really thought CM Punk was going to win. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah, crazy. Unfortunately, he did not win. Ricky Starks did win. I'm not mad at the move. And Ricky Starks actually grabbed the trophy from Juice and Thunder Liger, who was trying to hand it to him and shake his hand, and he just basically blew him off, ignored him, and took the trophy and got the fuck out of there.
Damn.
Yeah, so looks like this probably might be a feud between Punk and Ricky Starks. I fucks with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I fucks with Collision, man. I mean, like I said before, I'm not crazy about the night that it comes on, but it's a solid show. It's a solid ass show.
Reminds me of the time slot. Reminds me of Velocity.
It's a better ass show than Velocity, though. But yes, I see what you're trying to say.
Oh, I know that. I know that, Kurt. I'm not talking about talking about the quality of the show. I'm just talking about the time slot. But yeah, nobody was gonna sit down and watch an hour wrestling show on a Saturday compared to what AEW brings to the table. It's a big difference. Talking about the time slot because Velocity came on like what like late afternoon.
No, Velocity came on at 10 o'clock at night, bro.
I thought it came on earlier than that. Oh my god.
No, no, it came on at 10 o'clock at night, at least in the East Coast.
Okay, well, I was on the West Coast, so 3 hour difference.
Yeah, it shit came on at 10 o'clock at night. It was basically the SmackDown version of Sunday Night Heat. It was like, you're not missing anything if you don't watch this show.
Oh yeah, I know that time slot thing because it's weird. Who's gonna sit up there and watch a wrestling show on a Saturday? You know what I mean? So, but Collision. There are times where I would go on my phone and I see Collision on. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm not doing anything. There were times I was out with my girlfriend and her friends, and I'll still watch it. So
Yeah, it's definitely a good ass show. And also, what was also a good show was Dynamite last night, as Jack Perry, now he's known as Jack Perry, the Jungle Boy shit is officially dead. He had a video come out like last night before his entrance where he's like taking like what would be perceived as the body of his old gimmick and putting it into a grave and burying it, killing his old theme music, and now he's just known as Jack Perry. And he came out to this like Beethoven music.
what?
And yeah, he's switching it up big time,
Ooh,
bro.
Beethoven of all songs. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is kind of like reminds me of when Seth Rollins had his very first, his new theme song literally right after he broke up with the Shield. Following week, he had a new theme song. Dude's wearing a suit. And I'm like, what? I was like, what's this? I was like, okay.
Yeah, so Jack Perry went up against Hook for the FTW title, and Hook, up until last night, was undefeated, but that undefeated streak came to an end as Jack Perry is the new FTW champion, and that is now his first singles title in the company.
Crazy.
Although it is not a sanctioned title, it's still a title nonetheless, and it's great. And he ended Hook's undefeated streak. But I'm liking his feud. I'm gonna really look forward to what they do next with it.
Mm,
It worked out so well that Taz was like visibly pissed on commentary. Like Taz was like not somebody you even wanted to be around.
holy crap.
Yeah, Taz just basically said this isn't over.
Damn.
Yeah, Taz was not happy, especially with the way it went down. Yo, yeah, this is oof. But I like this feud though. I like this feud between Hook and Jack Perry. It's a good look. Also was a good look was the segments between MJF and Adam Cole. Yo, this shit was hilarious. The shit they were doing last night.
What was I seeing? They were having a tag match, and then tag match turned into a freaking to a dance
Hell,
off.
even before that, even before they got to the match, like there was like this segment they did earlier where they were like at some restaurant and they were both like getting drunk together and like joking around, and then they double clothesline like the busboy because he looks like somebody they don't like.
Boy.
And then MJF says, "Look, I got you a present. I got us matching outfits." And then Adam Cole's like, "Oh shit, I got you a present. I got us matching jackets." And then they like put their theme music together, like they mix both of their theme musics together, and they come out to it. Oh shit, was hilarious. And then yeah, in the middle of the match, they have a dance off with Danny Garcia and Sammy Guevara. Yo, that shit was crazy. Who would have ever thought in the middle of the match that you be having a freaking dance off?
I've never seen anything like that ever. I've been watching wrestling my whole entire life. Never have I ever seen anything like that before. But the crowd was into it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it was
Oh
fun.
man.
And then they ultimately end up winning the match with a double clothesline. So now they're going to get a shot at FDR's tag team titles next Saturday on Collision. But then after the match, Adam Cole was picking up the belt to hand it to MJF. But as MJF saw him with the belt in his hand, he got upset. And then he was kind of like, saying, "What the hell are you doing? What the fuck is up?" And then Adam Cole was like saying, "Bro, calm down. I'm just handing you the belt. It's all good." And then Adam Cole, yeah, hands him the belt and they hug. And then as Adam Cole walks away, MJF has like a pissed off look on his face. So it's looking like
Not gonna last long.
it's not gonna last very long. No, it's
Something's gonna
not.
happen next week, Kurt.
Yeah, but people are hoping that it like goes on longer because it's like so funny and so entertaining. But
I
um,
know, but like I said before you went on the air, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Matt Hardy MVP back in 2007. I know you wasn't watching wrestling back then, but they were feuding or competing with each other, but they had like these comedic, friendly competitions with each other. They even at one point were the tag team champions. So, and then eventually it did came to an end because Matt Hardy ended up getting hurt. Anyway, but yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of a little bit.
yeah, I got you. But they're more than likely going to be facing at either the Wembley Stadium show or they're going to be facing each other at All Out, and that's like not that far away. So they got to eventually do the split. I've been liking what they've done with this story so far. I think it's
Yeah.
been. I think this feud so far, this story's been as good as the Bryan Danielson one.
Yes.
And Bryan Danielson's going to be out for a lot longer than expected because of his injury that he sustained at Forbidden Door, the broken arm. He actually wrestled for like 10 minutes even after it happened.
Fuck, I forgot all about that, man. Damn. That was crazy, dude.
So it looks like he's not
But
going to make it back in time for that Wembley Stadium show, which is unfortunate.
yeah. You need to do your MJF and Adam Cole match for the Wembley Stadium. That is like just the perfect setting to do it. Save it for that.
I don't mind. I do not mind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and also congrats to Bryan Danielson and Brie Garcia as they're expecting their third child.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, good for them. And also, the main event of Dynamite was the Blood and Guts match between Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite. And yo, this match was wild, bro. This match was very worthy of the name Blood and Guts. Let's just put it at that.
Boy, just yeah, seeing the highlights on that crap was just like, damn, dude.
Yeah, they had glass, they had like broken glass that people were getting slammed on. They had thumbtacks. Like one of the young bucks like put thumbtacks from like the top of the cage to the bottom, and then Moxley and Claudio got like backdropped on them. Holy shit! And there was this one spot where like Kenny Omega got drop kicked like against the turnbuckle into like a bed of nails, and also got slammed on them too.
I saw a picture, up close picture of John Moxley just bloodied. It was just crazy.
Yeah, everybody got fucked up in that match. That's why they called it Blood and Guts.
I feel like John Moxley is like a modern day version of Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mick Foley, Bruiser Brody, who we'll get into in a few minutes, and also the most recent subject of the Dark Side of the Ring, Abdullah the Butcher, with how much he likes to bleed.
Wow.
Yeah, fucking crazy. We'll also get into John Moxley's thoughts on blood and matches in a few minutes. But as this match was wild, this match was crazy, had everything you could ask for, but it was ultimately won by the elites. But yeah, that last night's episode of Dynamite was some good shit. Both Raw this weekend, Dynamite were both good. Hopefully, SmackDown and Collision later this week can follow that trend.
I believe it will. I believe it will. There's just so much writing, so much stuff they need to do on SmackDown will be answered. So they will.
And Collision is Saturday, especially after what happened last week with the way it ended. Yeah, there's a lot of stories they need to continue, which are very compelling so far. But with how bloody John Moxley's matches get, this is what he had to say about it, like why he bleeds so much in his matches. It's part of the aesthetic. It adds realism. Sometimes when I don't even want it to, but I only know one speed. That's with my foot to the gas pedal. If we're going to do something, let's fucking do it.
A lot of passion and energy in that quote.
Yeah, like he pretty much bleeds in like every single match. Like I remember this one match he had on Dynamite a few weeks ago where like him and this dude were like hitting each other like hard as fuck in the head with like these forearms like going back and forth. This shit like lasted for like a good 2 minutes and like within right when that shit was over, they were like both bloodied up. This shit was crazy.
Shit.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like that dude is just so associated with blood in his matches. It's kind of like weird to watch a match with him and there's no blood. It's like, yo, something's not right. Like, is he not feeling good? Is he like feeling sick today or some shit?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But I get what he means. It does add some realism to matches. But the only thing I don't like is when it's in like every single match.
Yeah, man. Yeah, true.
Because for instance, if you remember like WrestleMania 13 with Bret and Austin bleeding in that match wouldn't have felt as special and different if you saw that in all the other matches before that, like with like the Rocky Maivia and Sultan match or the Goldust and Triple H match. If it had happened in other matches besides that one, like it wouldn't stand out as much. And I get that aspect of it.
True. I get
But I remember like in those old NWA shows, like in the 80s, like I remember watching like Starrcade 85 a few years ago, and like in pretty much every single match they bled, like every single last match.
You got to remember, it was different back then. We're doing things differently, but I'm a firm believer of too much of everything is not good.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Abdullah the Butcher didn't see it that way. If you see his forehead,
true, but you got to remember it was a different time, different era. So
yeah, that dude has like
don't do it too
yeah, the
much.
fork marks on his forehead are fucking very visible.
Yikes.
Yeah, his Dark Side of the Ring was some weird shit. Let's put it to that. Some very weird shit. Apparently, from like blading, he gave this like one dude Hannibal hepatitis C.
Oh, really? Is that why they're I think the wrestling industry now is bit, well, mainly WWE, that they're a bit cautious about blading?
That's probably a part of it because I remember I think at Armageddon '05, Undertaker busted open Bob Orton during the Hell in a Cell match, and then he didn't know that Bob Orton had hepatitis C before that happened, and he was apparently pissed off at John Laurinaitis over it for not telling him.
Wow. Oh, and John and Laurinaitis knew about it. Wow.
Apparently so. Yeah, John Laurinaitis isn't very well liked. A lot of people don't have a lot of good things to say
Oh,
about
yeah,
him.
yeah. We know the story though. We all know. But
Even Teddy Long, I was listening to a recent interview of Teddy Long, and he was shitting on him too, saying how he was like a shitty person, he was a horrible human being, etc.
wow. I mean, no, you can't blame Taker for being upset about that because you're talking about somebody's health for goodness sakes, and you could get infected, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, that Hannibal dude ended up taking Abdullah the Butcher to court and like suing him over it, and he ended up winning the case both in the states and also in Canada. And he was owed $4.5 million from Abdullah that he never received 1 cent from. Yeah, because Abdullah the Butcher doesn't have any money really; he's broke, and also supposedly Abdullah the Butcher can't read or write.
are you serious?
Yeah, that's what he claimed. That's what he said. Some people think it could be true. Other people are like skeptical of it because they talked about how like, they've gone with him to restaurants and like he's ordered food perfectly, he ordered off the menu perfectly, and he's like dealt with like wrestling contracts throughout his whole career and made a lot of money. So how could he not learn how to read and write and like get that far?
And he's has a high school diploma and all that stuff, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, they didn't really get much into his education, but I doubt it
Hmm.
because he even said himself he should have went to school.
Really?
Yeah, he said that.
Oh,
Also, the Adrian Adonis episode was pretty good too. I watched that one last week. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, I never like knew much about him, like before. Like he was the adorable character in WWE. I didn't realize, that he was like a legit tough guy. He was like in much different shape. He was also a tag team with Jesse Ventura in the AWA.
oh, interesting. Nice.
They were called the East West Connection. But then by the time he got to WWE, like when he was playing the adorable character, like he had put on weight. He also had a drug problem. And then after WrestleMania 3, he ended up getting released because of like dress code violations. And then he eventually like, started to lose weight and get his life together and like, try to get back on track. But then he ended up getting into a car accident that killed him and like 2 other people.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the people who was a surviving member of the car accident, they interviewed him for it. And one of the people who died in the car accident was actually his twin brother.
Are you? Oh, he has a twin brother.
Yeah, the surviving member of the car accident, one of the people who died in it was his twin brother.
Damn.
Yeah, some sad shit. And it's so crazy. After Adrian got into that car accident, there was people who actually broke into his car and like stole money from him and like broke into his hotel room and stole money from him after all this shit had happened.
Wow.
How fucking sick is that, bro? How fucking sick is that?
That's very sick.
Yeah, like Adrian Adonis is kind of like those what if stories, like if that accident didn't happen. Because I remember we did talk about his car accident on our last episode, and yeah, it's like a real crazy what if story. Like they interviewed Bret Hart actually for the episode because Bret Hart was really close with them. Bret Hart
Mm,
said that would have been a potential WrestleMania match in a few years had he survived.
really?
Yeah, him and Bret Hart were really close actually. Him and Bret Hart were pretty tight. And next week's episode is going to be about Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, okay, okay.
From what I understand, before he was a wrestler, he was also a bounty hunter.
He was?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, wow.
That's what Steve Blackman does now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Steve Blackman
Hmm.
now is a bounty hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy ass shit, man. All right, but
Wow.
also AEW now has a list of moves that are now banned, and here's the list of those moves: unprotected chair shots to the head, shots to the back of the head, buckle bombs, blind moves that are backwards into the turnbuckle, seizure cells, splitting, bleeding in the crowd, weapons or projectiles in the crowd, taking drinks or food from guests in the crowd, physical contact with the crowd, and no throwing objects with blood into the crowd.
Okay, everything else, the last few things that you said are understandable. The seizure one, I don't understand that. So go a little more in depth with that one.
I guess like when they get hit with a move, when they're like lying on the floor, and the way they sell it, it looks like they're having a seizure.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
They can't do that?
I guess not, according to this list.
Stupid.
I don't know, bro, but here are the list of moves that need to be approved by medical staff and coaches. Spots and bumps on the ring apron and outside. Table, ladder, and chair spots in and out of the ring only allowed with padding. Any elevated spots outside of the barricades, such as dives and ladder spots on the stage, around the arena, and other places outside of the ring. All pile driver tombstone variations, including sit down drivers, inverted poison hurricane rana, and vertebreakers. High-risk dives or top rope moves such as the 450, 630, double moonsaults, SSP, etc. Intentional bleeding of any sort, not just blading. Throwing people into, through, over the ring steps. Commentary table, bell table, or guardrails, barricades. Weapon usage such as chairs, pipes, kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, bats, chains, etc. Title belts, thumbtacks, skewers, barbed wire, and other sharp puncturing objects, or powders, aerosol sprays, or liquids, throwing any weapons or objects, choking, strangling with hands or a weapon or hanging spots, injury spots or angles, whether or not medical staff is involved, called to the ring, any physicality in the crowd or crowd brawling, any physicality involving referees, managers, extras, celebrities, or special guests. Long ass list.
That's a long list. It's like I'm reading a freaking like a rule book. You're going to school or something. Jeez, that's like pretty much like normal stuff that you do in the wrestling industry. The announce table thing, that right there alone was just like that's pushing it.
And the thing is, they need to be approved by both. Like, if one approves and the other doesn't approve, then it doesn't get to happen. But both, yeah, so both have to approve on it before any of these
Oh
things can
my
be done.
god. Who? Okay, is there a reason why all of this was implemented?
It could come from the network. The network could be a part of it. And also, it could be the fact that maybe a lot of people have been getting injured and it's getting out of hand. So maybe they wanted to put a stop to it. I mean, I get it. I get wanting to be more safe and take more precautions, but some of those do seem a little weird that you would have to get permission for things that have been going on for years in all of wrestling, not just, AEW, everywhere.
True, true.
Also, apparently, Warner Brothers and Discover want AEW to put on more pay-per-views and possibly as many as one a month.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, honestly, personally, I like their pay-per-view format the way it is. We only get 4 a year, and usually they're good and they stack them up. I mean, they're $50, but they hold up well. They're entertaining. They deliver. I don't think they need to overdo it, but we'll see how it goes.
See what you mean.
Yeah, and also on July 31st, the new Cody Rhodes documentary is going to drop, and I saw they had the premiere for it last night.
Oh, for real? I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's this one part of it where Kevin Owens says that Vince McMahon actually flew to Cody's home to try to talk him into resigning.
That part I heard about. I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that part. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a good documentary. I look forward to watching it. And also, congratulations to Trinity. This past Saturday at Slammiversary, she won the Impact Knockouts Championship.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
And also, she's one of 4 women to win the title for the women in both WWE and Impact Wrestling. These are the other ones being Gail Kim, Mickey James, and Victoria.
Oh, wow. That's a good list.
Yeah, and also Mercedes Moné and Tamina were backstage in support of her too. Good shit. You could tell that those girls are really her friends. I fucks with that.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Trinity. I know the way she left WWE wasn't the smoothest, and she had a rough patch afterwards, but she looks like she bounced back from it in a major way, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah, same here. It's a good way to bounce back. Start off on the right track.
One thing we forgot to mention, there are 2 matches at SummerSlam that will more than likely happen. And Gunther defending against Drew McIntyre. They're supposed to have a face-off this Monday on Raw.
Looking forward to that.
And you know what's crazy is this will be the first Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam since 2018.
Damn, for real?
For reals. For reals, for reals.
Okay. It goes to show you how important the title is now and how Gunther's done a damn good job at it.
Yeah, Gunther just surpassed 400 days as the Intercontinental Champion, and he's only less than 2 weeks away from breaking Macho Man's record from 86-87, and by the middle of September, he would have broken Honky Tonk Man's record.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, he definitely put his stamp on that title for damn sure. But I don't think he should lose it. I don't think he should lose it at SummerSlam.
No. Would be surprised, though, if he did, though, but no. We're not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I don't think
I don't think Samantha Irvin's ready yet either because of the way she announces him as IC champion. Yeah, it would be weird not to announce him as IC champion anymore.
Right.
For reals. Oh, yeah, and also at SummerSlam, more than likely, we're getting Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, as Becky Lynch must defeat Zoe Stark this Monday on Raw in order to have the match with Trish, and we all know how this is gonna go.
Yeah, they that Miz TV segment got pretty hectic from the start, and then Becky, pulled off Trish Stratus' mask off. It just went off from there. So we already know, how's it going to turn out. I hope this is going to be the ending conclusion for this feud.
The ending conclusion could be a cage match because I also heard that Trish wants to do a cage match before this run is over, and that's also a match she's never done before.
Hey, I'm up for it. If she could do a ladder match, hell, she could do a cage match. I'm up for it. I'm down.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens though. But yeah, we're more than likely getting that match, and it just came out recently that Dave Meltzer, never gave a Kurt Angle match a 5-star rating.
Well, are you freaking? I don't want to hear no more because Dave. I don't trust Dave Metzler. Okay, he be saying a lot of stuff that's just like he doesn't know what he's talking about sometimes. So I'm offended.
Hey, I'm not saying I agree with him all the time either, but the
Right.
way I look at his 5-star ratings, it's just his opinion. Like it's no different than like Siskel and Ebert back in the day when they would give a movie 2 thumbs up or they would crap on a movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's his opinion. You don't have to fuck with it. You don't have to agree with it. Yeah, I think he's only given a select few of WWE's matches like 5 stars. Like I know the Bret and Owen match from SummerSlam '94, the Razor Sean ladder match from WrestleMania 10, the Bret and Austin submission match from WrestleMania 13, also the Taker Sean Hell in a Cell, and also he gave that rating to the Cena and CM Punk match from Money in the Bank too.
Mm,
Yeah, but most of the matches he gives 5-star ratings to are like New Japan matches and that kind of stuff.
gotcha.
Yeah, but whatever. It's his opinion. It's just crazy that he never ranked the Kurt Angle match 5 stars. He said the one that probably came the closest was the one with Benoit at Royal Rumble '03.
Which was a very good match.
Best year. I'm sorry, my pick for the match of the year that year. Before we get out of here, I just want to get into an anniversary that happened 35 years ago. On July 17th of 1988, Bruiser Brody died as a result of being stabbed in the shower by Invader One, who goes by the name Jose Gonzalez, at a show in Puerto Rico. What happened was Jose called him to talk for a second in the shower area, and like it started as like an argument and a scuffle ensued, and all of a sudden everybody who was in the other room heard a scream or two, and they ran into the shower, and then that's where they saw. I'm sorry, and that's where Tony Atlas came in and saw Bruiser Brody like lying on the floor with like a stab wound, like clutching his chest, and then Jose Gonzalez was standing over him with a knife in his hand.
Damn.
But because the traffic was so bad because of the show, it took the ambulance like literally almost an hour to get to him. And then what's his name? Tony Atlas had to carry him like to the ambulance, and they were unable to save him. Unfortunately, it was too late.
Wow. It's like that was like one of the reasons why they didn't bring a show to Puerto Rico in a long time prior to their New Year's Revolution show, correct?
That was a part of it. Yeah, it was always like known to be a dangerous place and like a place that was you did not feel safe in. Like to the point where when they even did New Year's Revolution in 2005, the talent were told like not to go out and party or any of that stuff, to just stay in their hotel. Yeah, that's how wild that place was. I don't know if it still is now, but back then it was a different animal.
Crazy.
And the person who ran that territory where that show was happening was Carlos Colon, who's also Carlito's dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's also gotten a lot of flack for that because he was like apparently covered it up, and he might have been like a person like responsible for it or orchestrated it. Because the thing with Bruiser Brody was that he had a bad reputation with promoters. Because he was known to like screw over promoters before promoters could screw him over, and he was like supposedly like never wanted to lose.
Wow.
And then even though Jose Gonzalez like stabbed the dude, he did get acquitted for it the next year. And the people who lived outside of Puerto Rico who were supposed to testify in the trial, they didn't get the notice saying that they weren't going to be needed to testify until after the trial was over.
What?
That's what I mean by like there was like a lot of sketchy shit like surrounding this whole thing.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why Puerto Rico was like always known as like a place you didn't want to, wrestle in, because it was that dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a backstory that like Bruiser Brody had wrestled that Jose Gonzalez dude like like a decade or so before. Then Bruiser Brody like really roughed him up badly, like really fucked him up to the point where Jose said that one of these days I'm gonna kill that dude.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah, but before he died, Bruiser Brody was a wild one, man. Like you could definitely tell that Mick Foley got a lot of his style from him. And his fights with like Abdullah the Butcher, they were freaking nuts. Like they even ranked that feud on one of the top 25 best feuds in wrestling history. That like DVD that came out a couple years ago. Yeah, they talked about that feud. That feud was wild. Like, the fans were like legit scared of both of them. Like when they would get into the audience, the fans would just like run away, run for their lives. Yeah, these dudes would beat the hell out of each other. It was, you didn't question whether or not it was real when those two fought each other.
Damn.
Yeah, but Bruiser Brody left behind a wife and child and never wrestled in WWE, like, or at least when Vince was in charge. He never wrestled in WWE. Neither did Abdullah the Butcher either. Yeah, I don't think either one of those dudes would fit in with WWE, especially back in that era.
Look at this dude's photos right now.
The first season of Dark Side of the Ring, they did an episode about him. One of the first episodes. Yeah, but rest in peace to him. He had a very legendary career despite never really working for WWE when Vince McMahon was the head of it. And yeah, the dude definitely made an impact. And unfortunately, it was cut short way too soon. And what a fucking crazy way it was to go out.
Rest in peace.
In any event, I think we said what we needed to say tonight. Hope you guys enjoy SmackDown tomorrow and Collision on Saturday. The wrestling business is feeling popping right now, I must say. It's feeling mad popping.
Absolutely. I haven't felt like this. This is kind of reminiscent of 2021.
Probably a little better, I would say. Probably a little better.
Yeah, I know, Bill, but just how the way things are going and just the vibe. So
I see what you mean. All right,
yeah.
but for John Randall, this is Kurt Cadet for another edition of the Clash of the Champions. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Stay safe and do not be an asshole in real life or social media because that shit is for the birds. See you guys next time.